You remember the exact moment. Things shifted. Maybe it was 3 months into your relationship, or maybe 3 years. One night, his touch changed from gentle to urgent. His hands gripped tighter. His breath became heavier. The tenderness you'd grown comfortable with suddenly transformed into something raw, almost desperate. And in that moment, you felt a confusing mix of emotions wash over you: excitement, uncertainty, maybe even a flicker of fear mixed with arousal. Afterward, lying in the darkness, questions flooded your mind. Does this mean he doesn't love me the same way anymore? Am I not enough when we're gentle together? Is there something wrong with me that I didn't see this coming? You've probably replayed that moment dozens of times, analyzing every detail, searching for answers in the silence between heartbeats. Maybe you've even Googled variations of this question at 2 in the morning, hoping the internet could explain what's happening in your relationship. The truth is, you're not alone in this confusion. Thousands of women experience this exact shift and struggle with the same questions. What you're feeling right now, that mixture of curiosity and concern, is completely valid and more common than you could ever imagine. Before we go any further, let's address the story your mind might be telling you right now. The one that whispers you're not attractive enough, not exciting enough, not woman enough to satisfy him with simple tenderness. That story is wrong. His desire for intensity has absolutely nothing to do with your inadequacy. It's not about your body, your performance, or anything you failed to do. In fact, what's happening is so far removed from those fears that once you understand the real reasons, you'll wonder how you ever believed otherwise. The truth involves ancient biological wiring that existed long before modern relationships. It connects to psychological needs he probably can't even name himself. It relates to emotional vulnerability he's terrified to show you. It touches on neurochemistry, evolutionary psychology, and the complex dance between masculinity and tenderness in today's world. What you're about to discover will completely reframe how you understand not just his desires, but masculine sexuality as a whole. This isn't about you being insufficient. This is about him having needs that operate on multiple levels: physical, emotional, psychological, that he's only now feeling safe enough to express with you. That safety, that's because of who you are, not despite it. Before we dive deeper, we need to establish something crucial together. What we're exploring in this conversation is consensual intensity between adults who trust and respect each other. We're talking about passion that honors both people's boundaries and comfort levels. We're not discussing aggression, disrespect, or anything that makes you feel unsafe or uncomfortable. There's a clear difference between a man who wants to express intensity with someone he cherishes and a man who disregards your feelings or boundaries. Understanding his psychology doesn't mean accepting behavior that doesn't feel right to you. Your comfort, your consent, and your emotional safety always come first. Always. What we're about to explore will help you understand the psychology behind certain desires, but that understanding is meant to empower you, not pressure you. You get to choose what feels right in your relationship. You get to have boundaries. You get to say yes to some things and no to others. This conversation is about giving you knowledge so you can make informed decisions from a place of confidence rather than confusion or insecurity. So take a breath. You're safe here, and everything we discuss, you can take or leave based on what serves you and your relationship best. Your partner might spend his days in business meetings, typing emails, or navigating office politics, but his brain is still running software that was designed for a completely different world. For hundreds of thousands of years, male brains evolved for hunting, tracking, conquering physical challenges, and protecting their tribes from immediate danger. These weren't abstract concepts, they were daily survival requirements that shaped every neural pathway in the masculine brain. When a man's ancestors spotted prey, their bodies flooded with adrenaline, testosterone surged, and every muscle prepared for explosive action. This wasn't gentle, this wasn't soft, this was intensity with life or death stakes. Fast forward to today, and that same wiring still exists in his brain, but modern life offers almost no outlet for it. He can't chase down his dinner. He can't physically compete for resources. He can't engage his body in the primal, intense ways his ancestors did daily. So where does all that evolutionary programming go? It doesn't disappear, it redirects. During intense physical intimacy, those ancient neural pathways light up like a Christmas tree. His brain releases the same cocktail of chemicals his ancestors experienced during a successful hunt: adrenaline, dopamine, testosterone, endorphins. For the first time all day, his body feels like it's doing what it was designed to do. Gentle touch is lovely, but it doesn't activate these deep evolutionary circuits. It's like playing classical music to a brain that's wired for rock and roll. The intensity he craves isn't about rejecting tenderness, it's about finally feeling aligned with biology that's been suppressed all day long in his climate-controlled, sedentary, civilized world. Let's talk about something most women don't fully understand because they don't experience it in their own bodies: the physical reality of testosterone. Imagine carrying a constant low-level electrical current through your body, not painful exactly, but present, always present. This current creates a physical pressure, an energy that needs somewhere to go. It builds in his muscles, his chest, his entire nervous system. It's not just mental or emotional, it's literally physical. Throughout his day, he's managing this energy while sitting in traffic, during Zoom calls, while making small talk with neighbors. He's constantly regulating, controlling, containing this force that wants to be expressed physically. By the time he's with you, that energy has been building for hours or days. Now imagine trying to release all that accumulated physical intensity through gentle, slow touch alone. For many men, it feels like trying to satisfy intense hunger with a single grape. The gesture is sweet, but it doesn't touch the deeper need. Vanilla intimacy can feel like speaking in whispers when his body is screaming to roar. This isn't about you failing to satisfy him, it's about his body having a different biological rhythm and intensity level than yours. When he seeks roughness, he's often trying to match his physical expression to his internal experience. The pressure he feels inside needs an equal and opposite release. Gentle touch, while emotionally connecting, sometimes can't provide the physical discharge his body is demanding. It's like he's a pressure cooker that needs the release valve opened, not just the temperature turned down slightly. Understanding this helps you see that his desire for intensity isn't personal, it's physiological. His body is literally asking for something different than what his heart might want, and he's trying to honor both needs simultaneously. Now let's get into the fascinating science of what's actually happening in his brain during intense intimacy. When physical connection becomes rough, primal, and intense, his brain doesn't just release a little dopamine, it unleashes a neurochemical cascade that creates an experience gentle touch simply cannot replicate. First, there's the adrenaline surge. This is the same chemical released during skydiving or extreme sports. It creates alertness, presence, and an electric feeling of being completely alive. Then dopamine floods his reward centers, creating intense pleasure and motivation. But here's where it gets really interesting. The combination of physical intensity with emotional trust triggers massive oxytocin release, the bonding hormone. So simultaneously, he's experiencing the thrill of adrenaline, the pleasure of dopamine, and the deep connection of oxytocin. This combination is intoxicating. Add testosterone into the mix, which amplifies all these effects, and you have a neurochemical cocktail that creates one of the most powerful experiences his brain can have. His brain essentially learns that this intensity equals connection, pleasure, and release all at once. Over time, these neural pathways strengthen. His brain begins to prefer this route to intimacy because the neurochemical payoff is so substantial. It's not that gentle touch doesn't feel good. It absolutely does. But it's like comparing a pleasant walk to an exhilarating roller coaster. Both have value, but they create completely different experiences in the brain. The intensity triggers his brain's reward system in ways that register as deeply satisfying on multiple levels simultaneously. Understanding this neurochemistry helps you see that his preference isn't a judgment on gentle intimacy. It's his brain recognizing a pathway that delivers a more complete neurochemical experience. His brain has essentially discovered a shortcut to feeling intensely alive, deeply connected, and thoroughly satisfied all at once. Here's something that will completely shift your perspective. When he asks to be rough with you, he's not expressing dominance, he's exposing his deepest vulnerability. Think about what he's actually revealing in that moment. He's showing you a side of himself that society has taught him to hide, control, and be ashamed of. He's risking you seeing him as aggressive, scary, or even monstrous. He's terrified you'll reject this part of him and, by extension, reject all of him. Most men spend their entire lives being told that their strength is dangerous, their intensity is threatening, and their primal nature is something to suppress and apologize for. From boyhood, they learn that good men are gentle, controlled, and never let their raw masculine energy show. So when he reveals his desire for intensity with you, he's not dominating, he's surrendering. He's trusting you with the parts of himself he's been taught to hide. He's hoping desperately that you won't flinch, won't judge, won't make him feel like a monster for having these desires. When you respond with acceptance, something profound happens in his psyche. He feels seen in his full complexity, not just the civilized, controlled version of himself, but the complete man, including his primal, intense, powerful aspects. This acceptance creates a bond deeper than most people ever experience. He feels safe being completely himself with you, which is the foundation of true intimacy. The roughness itself isn't the point. The vulnerability of revealing it is. Every time he expresses intensity, and you meet him there without fear or judgment, you're telling him that all of him is acceptable, lovable, and safe with you. That's not dominance. That's the most profound emotional vulnerability a man can offer. Let's talk about the invisible prison most modern men live in daily. From the moment he wakes up, your partner is managing, controlling, and suppressing his natural masculine energy. At work, he can't be too assertive or he's aggressive. He can't be too competitive or he's toxic. He can't take up too much space or he's domineering. He moderates his voice, controls his body language, and constantly calibrates his behavior to be acceptable in modern society. He's essentially performing a carefully choreographed dance of controlled masculinity every single day. When he comes home, the performance continues. He's gentle with the kids, patient with daily frustrations, measured in his responses. He's the good guy everyone can count on to be steady, reliable, and never too much. But here's what most people don't understand. This constant self-regulation is exhausting. It's like holding your breath all day long. His strength, his intensity, his primal energy, all of it gets compressed into a smaller and smaller container until the pressure becomes unbearable. The bedroom becomes his only sanctuary. It's the one place in his entire life where he can release the controlled, civilized persona and just be raw, unfiltered, and intense without consequences. When he's rough with you, he's not being violent. He's finally exhaling after holding his breath for 16 hours. He's releasing all that compressed energy in the one place where it's safe to do so. You become the person he trusts enough to witness his uncensored self. This is why the intensity often feels so desperate, because it is. It's the accumulated energy of constant self-suppression finally finding release. Understanding this helps you see that his roughness isn't about you at all. It's about him finally feeling free to be fully himself after an entire day of performance and control. Have you ever seen something so cute that you wanted to squeeze it? That puppy's so adorable, you want to bite its little ears. Scientists call this cute aggression, and it's a real psychological phenomenon. When we're overwhelmed by positive emotions, love, adoration, attraction, our brains sometimes express it through seemingly aggressive impulses. We don't actually want to hurt the puppy. We're just so overwhelmed by how much we love it that our brain short circuits and channels intense positive emotion into physical intensity. Now apply this to how he feels about you. When he wants to be rough, to grip you tightly, to consume you completely, he's often experiencing the adult version of cute aggression. He's so overwhelmed by desire, attraction, and love for you that gentle touch feels inadequate to express the intensity of what he's feeling. His brain is essentially screaming, "I can't get close enough to her. I can't express how much I want her." Gentle isn't enough to communicate this feeling. The roughness is his attempt to physically express an emotional experience that's too big for words or soft touches. He wants to merge with you, consume you, possess you completely, not because he sees you as an object, but because he's drowning in how much he desires and loves you. Every tight grip, every intense moment is him trying to close the gap between how much he feels and how much he can express. Gentle lovemaking says, "I care about you." Intense, rough passion says, "I'm completely overwhelmed by you and nothing else exists right now." It's actually the ultimate compliment. You've triggered such intense desire in him that his usual ways of expressing affection feel insufficient. He needs intensity to match his internal experience of wanting you. Carl Jung, the famous psychologist, introduced a concept called the shadow self, the parts of our personality that we hide from the world, and sometimes even from ourselves. For men, the shadow often contains their untamed, primal, powerful aspects. Society teaches boys from an early age that these parts of themselves are dangerous and must be controlled. Their aggression, their competitiveness, their raw physical power, all of it gets pushed into the shadow, locked away where it can't cause problems. But here's the thing about shadow aspects. They don't disappear just because we hide them. They remain part of us, waiting for safe spaces to emerge. For many men, intimate relationships become the only place where they can safely integrate their shadow self. When your gentle, considerate partner reveals his desire for intensity, you're meeting his shadow, the untamed part of him that exists beneath the civilized surface. This isn't a different person, it's the complete person. He's both the tender man who brings you coffee in bed and the primal man who wants to express raw passion. Most men spend their lives compartmentalizing these aspects, showing the world only the acceptable parts. But deep, authentic intimacy requires integration, showing all of ourselves, including the parts we've been taught to hide. When he trusts you enough to reveal his untamed side, he's offering you the gift of his complete self. He's saying, I trust you won't reject me when you see all of me. This is profound psychological vulnerability. Your acceptance of his shadow doesn't just improve your intimate life, it helps him become a more integrated whole person. He no longer has to hide parts of himself from the person he loves most. That integration creates psychological wholeness that affects every area of his life. Now, let's talk about something we often avoid, your own potential desire for this intensity. Many women feel guilty or confused about enjoying being dominated, taken, or experiencing rough intimacy. Society sends mixed messages. Be empowered and independent, but also if you enjoy surrendering control in the bedroom, something might be wrong with you. Let's clear this up right now. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you if you enjoy intensity. In fact, there are deeply valid psychological and biological reasons why many women crave this experience. First, consider the mental load you carry daily. You make countless decisions, manage multiple responsibilities, and maintain control over various aspects of your life. The bedroom can become a sanctuary where you finally release that burden. Surrendering to someone you trust completely offers relief from constant decision-making. For those precious moments, you don't have to be in charge of anything. Second, there's something primal and deeply satisfying about being completely desired. When he's intense with you, there's no question about whether he wants you. His desire is obvious, overwhelming, undeniable. In a world where women often feel invisible or taken for granted, being the object of such intense desire feels incredibly validating. Third, the same neurochemistry that affects him affects you too. Intensity triggers adrenaline, endorphins, and oxytocin in your brain as well. The combination creates a unique experience that gentle touch can't replicate. You're not broken for enjoying this. You're human. Your enjoyment doesn't contradict your feminism, your independence, or your strength. The bedroom is a space outside normal social rules where you can explore different aspects of yourself safely. You can be powerful in your career and enjoy surrendering in intimacy. These aren't contradictions. They're the full range of human experience. Give yourself permission to enjoy whatever feels good to you without guilt or shame. Understanding the psychology behind intensity is important, but so is protecting yourself. There's a clear difference between healthy intensity and concerning behavior, and you need to know how to tell them apart. Green flags of healthy intensity include: he checks in with you verbally or non-verbally during intimate moments, respects your boundaries immediately when you express them, provides aftercare and emotional connection following intensity, discusses desires and boundaries outside the bedroom in calm moments, shows tenderness and gentleness at other times, and makes your pleasure and comfort a priority alongside his own desires. Healthy intensity exists within a relationship where you feel respected, valued, and safe overall. Red flags that signal concerning behavior include: he ignores your discomfort or requests to slow down, shows no interest in your pleasure or experience, lacks emotional connection or tenderness outside intense moments, becomes defensive or angry when you try to discuss boundaries, pressures you into activities you've expressed discomfort with, and shows no concern for aftercare or your emotional state afterward. The key difference is simple. Healthy intensity happens within a context of mutual respect, clear communication, and genuine care for your well-being. Concerning behavior prioritizes his desires over your comfort and safety. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Understanding his psychology doesn't mean accepting behavior that makes you uncomfortable. You deserve intensity that feels safe, connected, and mutually satisfying. Anything less isn't intensity. It's disrespect, and you don't have to tolerate it regardless of the psychological explanations behind it. If you want to discuss this topic with your partner, timing and framing matter enormously. Never bring up sensitive, intimate topics immediately after intimacy or during an argument. Choose a calm, private moment when you're both relaxed and have time to talk without interruptions. Start with appreciation and curiosity rather than criticism or demands. Try something like, "I love how passionate you are with me. I've been thinking about our intimate connection, and I'd love to understand more about what you enjoy and need." This opens the door without judgment. If you want to explore intensity together, you might say, "I'm curious about exploring different types of intimacy with you. What would feel amazing to you? If you need to establish boundaries, frame it positively. I love connecting with you intensely, and I want to make sure we're both feeling great about everything. Can we talk about what feels best for both of us? Avoid accusatory language like why do you always or you never. Instead, use I feel statements. I feel most connected when we balance intensity with tenderness, or I feel excited to explore this together, and I also need to feel safe expressing if something doesn't feel right. Ask open-ended questions. What does intensity mean to you? Or how do you feel after we're together? Listen without judgment to his answers. Remember, he's probably nervous about this conversation too. Most men fear being seen as too aggressive or having their desires judged. Create safety for him to be honest, and he'll likely create safety for you in return. This conversation isn't one and done, it's ongoing as you both grow and change. The best intimate relationships don't choose between rough and tender, they embrace the full spectrum. Think of intimacy like music. Some songs are soft and gentle, perfect for certain moods. Others are intense and powerful, matching different energy. The richest musical experience includes both. Your intimate life can work the same way. The goal isn't replacing tenderness with intensity or vice versa. It's creating variety that honors both your needs and his. Some encounters can be slow, gentle, and deeply tender. Others can be primal and intense. Many can blend both, starting one way and evolving into another. The key is communication and signaling. Develop ways to indicate what you're both desiring in any given moment. This might be verbal, I need you close and gentle tonight, or I want all of you right now. It might be physical cues you establish together, certain touches or looks that communicate desire for intensity versus tenderness. Creating variety keeps your intimate life dynamic and ensures both of you feel satisfied. When he knows he can experience intensity regularly, he's less likely to feel desperate for it every single time. When you know tenderness is still valued and present, you feel emotionally secure. The spectrum approach also accounts for the reality that desires change based on stress, emotional state, and circumstances. Some weeks you'll both crave intensity. Other times, gentleness feels right. Honoring this natural fluctuation rather than forcing consistency creates a more authentic, satisfying, intimate connection. Remember, you're not choosing between intensity and tenderness. You're choosing both at different times in different combinations, creating a rich and varied intimate life together. What happens after intense intimacy is just as important as the intensity itself. Aftercare is the bridge that transforms physical intensity into emotional bonding. Without it, intensity can feel disconnecting or even empty. With it, roughness becomes another expression of love. Aftercare includes physical closeness after intensity, holding each other, gentle touching, staying connected, rather than immediately separating. It includes verbal check-ins. Are you okay? Did that feel good for you? Is there anything you need right now? These questions demonstrate care and ensure both partners feel respected and valued. Aftercare also means emotional reassurance. After intensity, some people feel vulnerable or emotionally raw. Reassurance that you're loved, that the intensity was shared and enjoyed, that nothing about the experience diminishes the emotional connection. All of this matters deeply. For many men, aftercare is when they feel most emotionally open. The neurochemical cascade following intense intimacy creates a window of vulnerability where deeper conversations and emotional connection naturally emerge. This is when I love you means something different, something deeper. The contrast between intensity and tender aftercare actually amplifies both experiences. The gentleness feels more precious after rawness. The intensity feels safer, knowing tenderness follows. This rhythm intensity followed by care creates a complete experience that satisfies both physical and emotional needs. Aftercare proves that the roughness wasn't about disconnection or using someone. It was about connection expressed differently, followed by reconnection in tender ways. This integration is what transforms intensity from potentially concerning to deeply bonding. You've just completed a journey from confusion to understanding. You now know that his desire for intensity connects to evolutionary biology, neurochemistry, psychological needs for authentic expression, and the vulnerability of revealing his complete self. You understand that roughness often represents overwhelming desire rather than lack of love. You recognize the difference between healthy intensity and concerning behavior. You have language for conversations that can deepen your connection. This knowledge is your superpower, but here's what's crucial. Understanding his psychology doesn't obligate you to accept everything. Knowledge empowers you to make informed choices from a place of confidence rather than insecurity or confusion. You can understand why he desires intensity and still maintain boundaries about what feels right for you. You can appreciate the psychology behind his needs while honoring your own needs equally. You can choose to explore some aspects and decline others. Understanding creates options. It doesn't eliminate your agency. Your comfort, safety, and emotional well-being remain paramount. A healthy relationship honors both people's needs and finds compromises that work for everyone. If intensity doesn't feel right to you, that's valid. If it does, that's equally valid. The goal isn't conforming to his desires or suppressing your own. It's creating an intimate life where both of you feel seen, valued, and satisfied. You deserve to feel safe in your relationship. You deserve emotional connection alongside physical passion. You deserve a partner who prioritizes your pleasure and comfort. Understanding his psychology helps you determine whether your specific relationship offers these things. Use this knowledge wisely, trust yourself completely, and remember that you deserve nothing less than feeling cherished, desired, and emotionally secure in whatever form that takes for you.